Hi, everyone. I'm Steve. I'm here with Dr. Nario. Dr. Nario is with Biointegrative Health Center in Reno, Nevada. You can check out what they do online at their website. They do a lot of interesting IVs and treatments. So thanks for being here, Doctor.
Hi, Steve. Thank you for having me again. Always a pleasure.
So we're going to talk about seasonal eating. It's very interesting. We were talking a little bit about it before we turned on the camera. If you guys are interested in finding out more about health and fitness, interviews with doctors, nutritionists, personal trainers, subscribe to the channel. If you want to know more about our weight loss program, there's a number on the screen. You can call that or hit the link in the description. So, Doctor, we were talking a little bit about this before, and this is something that you've kind of recently looked into and read some research on.
Well, really, Steve, if you think about it, even I myself, I'm thinking about it. If you're seeing a vegetable or a fruit, right, that is not available during the season, what are the first things that pops in your head? Number one, of course, was it stored for a long period of time? And now it was brought out because now it's not in season and it's here. So did they add some preservatives to make it last longer? Sure, that's a possibility. Another one would be, of course, they were probably imported from a place or a region that's probably in season for them, and now it was brought over here to us. The thing there now you have to consider is, of course, transportation, how fresh is the product that you have. So these are things that now gets into the equation. So that's why I have a lot of patients now that I actually am promoting what we call seasonal eating. The seasonal eating, as you mentioned a while ago, eating according to seasons. It has been proven not only medically, but also through traditional or even Oriental medicine or Ayurvedic medicine, that there is some energetic positivity towards this type of eating. So that's why we're going to dwell on that today.
Yeah, it's interesting. It was funny you brought that up, that issue, and something that I think of as a watermelon. In the middle of winter, let's get watermelon. No, you're not supposed to have a watermelon in the middle of winter. What's it doing on the shelf? I mean, you never see that, but you see watermelon in the summer, right?
Or was it grown in the lab? Who knows, right? But again, it shouldn't be there. It's not right for that plant or fruit to be there. That's why we have to be intelligent buyers and eaters. And this is where we come in.
So what do you think? What are some of the other potential benefits of this or reasons to eat seasonally?
So, Steve, let's start with the medical parts. The medical part, there are actually studies that actually were comparing all these fruits and vegetables in terms of the relationship to the contents of nutrients in accordance to season. A good example for you would be spinach. Spinach actually was seen this was published by the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, that when they analyze spinach in the summer, it has higher levels of vitamin C compared to winter spinach. Another one would be carrots. Grown in summer, has higher antioxidant capacities or components compared to winter harvested ones. So as you can see, that's why, for me, that's really huge. I mean, if you're trying to put in supplements into your system, as I always tell people or patients, nothing beats real food in relation to putting supplements in your system. And also for the gut microbiome, people like the hunters-gatherers in Tanzania, they notice that when they eat in a seasonal fashion, the shifting of the gut bacteria actually was seen in relation to the studies that were done on diversity. That's why even the microbiome knows that this is the food that we should have for this season. This shouldn't be here. Well, why is it here? And then it does bad things, right? And at the same time, there's also studies about eating according to seasons actually helps metabolic flexibility, and even it prevents obesity, meaning better metabolism for the foods in season and also less fat storage from them. And also, again, when we talk about out of season, you just mentioned a while ago, preservatives, right? Even adding fungicides, even ripening agents to extend the shelf life of these fruits can be seen. And when you question a specific availability of a fruit or vegetable. And again, some cultural and psychological effects would be also better dietary adherence and mindful eating habits when you're eating according to this.
Now, it's interesting that you talk about the nutrient density is better when, let's say we're talking about fruit. The fruit grows and you pick it out of your own yard or your own garden, it kind of sounds like you said that's when it's going to hit its maximum peak of nutrients.
That's right. And the thing here is the microbiome. It's talking to you. It's saying to you that I know what you're doing. That food shouldn't be here. I'm not going to digest that. I'm going to make it into fats, convert it to more fats than energy. So as you can see, that not only us, this brain, but the brain down there also knows.
Yeah, very interesting. And your gut, what do they call that? Your second brain? That totally makes sense that your body knows nature and what things are natural at certain times of the year, right?
That's right. That is correct.
So you said that you have some of your patients starting to eat like this. Is this really a new thing, or have you noticed anything? Have they noticed anything? I mean, or some of the research that you've looked at, what are the results, the benefits, or what's supposed to happen?
Right. So when I mentioned to you a while ago that majority of people who follow this type of eating actually has better metabolic flexibility and even prevention of obesity. So when I mentioned to you about these specific parameters, we're talking about control of diabetes, cholesterol levels, blood pressure, and of course, weight gain. We're always about, as you mentioned, you have a program about weight. But again, probably this is also one of the core interventions that you have for these patients. And as I see them through lab testing. I see them through clinical presentations. And that's why weight is also something that I've been seeing, that people who eat this way has better weight management and also their metabolism, the thyroid control. It's always better for these people. And when you're talking about pesticides, of course, pesticides are just pests. Not only for the mosquitoes or the insects, but for us, meaning it's a pest for our health, that when you see people eating more non-organic, maybe let's label it that way, you would see more metabolic problems for these patients. And again, it's a no-brainer. It's like when you think about it, when it came to me first from the get-go, like what, it makes sense, right? It's just kind of like common sense, but we just don't know about it because we're so clouded about the everyday things that we do.
Yeah, it's interesting. We just grab something and eat it. And you asked me before we turn this on, it's something that I did try last summer, things like fresh figs in the produce section. You can get figs for about 1 month out of the year, towards the end of summer. And, I would try to limit them because there's so much sugar in them. But I ate more fruit and more things that you see in the grocery store in the summer that you don't see in the winter. So those are some of the things that I did.
That's right. Well, that's a good point that you brought up, Steve. So let's give some examples here for our viewers in order for them to apply this in their own lives. And let me kind of use the perspective of Chinese medicine here. So when they're talking about balancing the yin and yang, the dark and the light. So here, when you mention about summer, for example, we always want to promote cooling foods, cucumber, watermelon, and even the bitters like greens and dandelion. For spring, this is where we do spring cleaning, right? So sour foods like lemon and vinegar. So that's why we when we say cleaning, we use these as cleaning agents also, just to kind of make it, you remember that faster and better. And even green vegetables, spinach and sprouts, cleans up the gut, has a lot of fiber. And then for fall, we are talking about pungent foods like garlic, onion, and ginger, and moistening of foods like pears and nuts. And for winter, obviously, we want to do the opposite. It's too cold, we want to get warming foods, bone broth, roots vegetables, black beans. And these are the ones that really will coincide not only with your physical body, but energetically in accordance to Chinese medicine.
Yeah, winter. Hot chocolate with marshmallows.
Yes, that's...
Just kidding. Just kidding, don't do that.
Hey, you're endorsing, they should give you money for that, for endorsing that.
Yeah, we don't sell hot chocolate, but how about tea?
Well, yeah, definitely tea. So it's a good point that you brought that up. So now I have specific ones that I give advice to my patients. These are what we call culinary spices that inhibits inflammation or NF-kappa B. So why do I use this specific example? Because inflammation is the heart of any specific illness out there. So when we're talking about heart disease, cancer, right? And even just hormonal problems, it's all about inflammation. So let me give my viewers here examples on what they can grab on in terms of, like as you said, tea or even vegetables. So let's start with spring. So spring, coriander or cilantro. Cilantro is actually harvested in late spring, And it's actually known for its chelating effects, meaning removing heavy metals like mercury, lead, aluminum in the body. And also, you usually use with chlorella to support detoxification. Another spring spice would be chives. It's like an onion like spice. And also, it's rich in allicin that helps lower blood pressure and cholesterol and prevents plaque buildup. It also has antibacterial effects that you can take even for gut infections, for example. For the summer, now you're asking about tea, mint. Mint is actually perfect. This is actually helping with digestion, for example, and even abdominal issues, cramps, bloating, and cumin. Cumin is also part of this season where it's actually riper in the summer, and it actually is known for anti-inflammatory effects because it has the compound called thymoquinone, and it's a very antioxidant, a component of cumin, like cumin seeds. For fall, cinnamon. So cinnamon tea, cinnamon bark, known for its blood regulation capacities. And also famous, may it be the vegetable itself or the tea itself, ginger is here. Best harvested in early fall. And it helps with a lot of digestion issues, morning sickness, pregnancy, and even bloating, digestion issues. And for winter, black pepper. So black pepper is the king of spices. Why is that? Because it actually is a booster of any type of, when you combine it with especially curcumin, it actually gives you a 2,000 times absorption of curcumin. So it's a supporter of absorption. And also in winter, turmeric, as you can see, it's something hot, something warm, and actually is an active compound of curcumin, and always known for its anti-inflammatory capacities. We all know this is a famous herb, and that also is in available form for as a tea.
Wow. I'm glad I brought up the tea,
No.
because tea is something, and that was great how you mentioned the different types of teas that you could drink during the year. So any last thoughts, anything maybe I missed or anything else about that's special about eating seasonally?
Right. Well, really, when we talk about seasonal eating, Steve, there's so many benefits to it. It's just that we need to emphasize this because it's called seasonal adaptation, which leads to optimal health. And also, when we talk about, again, cold foods in summer, warm foods in winter, we're kind of being counterproductive. We could do that once in a while, but we really have to understand the concepts of why food is available for us. And again, not belittling what we're seeing in the grocery stores, and we see them now, but we don't see them tomorrow. There's a reason for that. Not only because they're not economically, but it's also for health benefits and also for our energetic needs. And at the same time, as I mentioned to you, that seasonal eating is also helping farming, our farmers, meaning it's actually eating to the natural cycles of what the farms can build for you and supporting your local farming community in relation to that.
Have you tried it?
I have been doing it. I mean, I just told you, it opened my eyes recently because it was being part of our study in the fellowship, and it makes more sense to me that yes, energy is food, and I have to recognize that I don't have to buy all these fancy supplements. It's just right in front of me.
Yeah, it certainly does make sense. Well, doctor, as always, thanks for your input. We appreciate you being with us. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Steve, again for having me, because we all know that our knowledge is your power to better health. And thank you for letting me provide you with edge and longevity and health maintenance, which I call the biological edge or the bio edge.